well, why don't you tell people what you're doing today?
We're gonna do a tattoo tour. Is it recording officially?
Yeah.
So shall I introduce why we're doing a tattoo tour? Once again, just like last week, I got a little stumped on this letter. I've got a full plan for the letters following I. I'm very, very confident in my ability to make those week's projects and those videos, but I just really, really stumped me. So I've come to this letter that made me see absolutely flaming red. I had no idea what to make a video about, and even now I'm guessing, is this even something I should be doing? But here we are. We're gonna talk about tattoos, which are all on my body from the beloved ink. So I have gotten inked throughout my life. I will be 30 next year. I think I have around 12 or 13 tattoos, to my family's disdain. Is that the right word? I have a pretty close connection with most of them, not all of them. And I'm gonna share with you my tattoos today. Week 9 is for I, which is for inked. So we're gonna do an ink tour. We're gonna look at the ink on my body today. Stay to the end to see me shirtless.
That's great.
Okay, we're gonna go from most recent tattoos to the oldest tattoos I have. And all of my most recent tattoos, which I think is like 4 or 5 at this point, is done by the same tattoo artist in London, Ontario. Their name is Cece, Wrapped in Plastic Tattoo on Instagram. You can follow them here. Is this the right area?
Yeah.
Okay. I love Cece's work. I think it's so beautiful. I've often said that I wish I could go back and redo all my other tattoos and just get Cece to basically do the concept, like the original concept that I had, because yeah, it just completely works so much that we've flown from where we live on the west coast of Canada to Ontario to see family and friends, but also to get tattoos. Yeah, so my most recent tattoo that I got with Cece is a chimney swift. So do I stand up? I got this tattoo because I used to work with chimney swifts. I used to work with birds, and chimney swifts are really cool little aerial insectivores that eat insects, and they live in our chimneys. And I've worked with a lot of really good people and volunteers, so I have lots of love for them. So I wanted to get one tattooed on my leg. So that's this handsome little devil. And he's carrying nesting material, which is extra fun. They actually use their saliva to like glue sticks together. So they have glue saliva. Their spit is glue. How many of you can say that? 0. My second most recent tattoo with CC is a frog tattoo. I kind of have this like gentle idea of doing an amphibian kind of like reptile leg tattoo sleeve. And on my right side of my leg and on my left side having it kind of be bird-centric. So I started with a frog. He's actually peeking out of the water. You can kind of see. Is it good? Can you see? No. Okay, great. No. Okay. We'll do close up. Yes, I've got a happy little frog peeking out of the water, and I think it's just really cute because one of my favorite times like during summer is walking around like lakes and just seeing little eyes peeking out at you and like giant little frogs and their beady little eyes. So it just makes me so happy, and so yeah, I think this one's really cool because you can kind of see the surface of the water and how he's like halfway in and halfway out and spying on you. Okay, so my very first tattoos with Cece were kind of this like series of jars that contain like at one point some kind of sugary substance. So for example, I've got a honey jar and I've got a maple syrup jar. And the reason they have like flowers and kind of just like pretty decorative things in there, and then the honey actually is growing a plant, like a little seedling, is because I like to reuse jars. Like I'm that person, everyone's seen that TikTok that's like, oh, there's always that one person that has like a cupboard full of random jars for no reason. That's definitely me. I love keeping my jars. I'm like, I'm gonna use that at some point. I can make some like chia pudding in there. So I like to find ways to make them useful, and if they're really cute and pretty, then I'll just like grow things in them or use them as little vases, because I think that's fun and a good way to like reuse all the glass that we buy in our grocery store. So there's an idea. I have a couple of tattoos that are like just words, and this one's really meaningful to me. It says storyteller, story maker. And I think the original idea that came to my head when I got storyteller, story maker was when I was reading Robin Wall Kimmerer's book, Braiding Sweetgrass. And at one point she's just like talking about, and she's a wonderful author, indigenous storyteller, and botanist by trade. And she just talks about how we're not only like telling stories, but we also have to remember to like make them as well. And I thought that was really wonderful as someone who really likes to do both of those things, to remember it's not always about telling, it's about just being in the moment and making them. But also it goes back back to telling them once you make them. So yeah, I just got that as a small reminder, and it's definitely like my favorite one, and that's why I have it on my hand so I can see it all the time. Okay, so the next tattoo artist that I got a tattoo with is named Dan from Montreal. I'm not sure if Dan's still practicing out of Montreal, but you can find Dan's art here. And if you're in the area where he is, I recommend. I only have one tattoo from Sweet Little Dan, okay? And it is this handsome devil little boxer shorts swim trunks tattoo. And it's really basic, kind of like a simple thin line tattoo of boxer shorts, or swim trunks, I think is the original idea. And it has a green line, a red line, and what should be a blue line that's just kind of becoming part of my skin, just kind of fading into blackness. But there are these three colors, and they represent the colors of the swimming trunks of the character in Call Me By Your Name. The character that Timothée Chalamet is like kind of falling in love with throughout the summer is really, what's the word? Not volatile, but just has a lot of different like personality traits and moods, and the way Timothy knows what mood that character is in. Like Crush is in a good mood if they're wearing like blue or green shorts, and they're in like kind of a grumpy, more like thoughtful kind of mood and like introspective mood when they're wearing red shorts. I just really love that idea of like holding all those moods in the same body. And so I wanted to kind of personalize that. I also love wearing swim trunks. I think they're comfy and cute, so there's that. The next tattoo artist is Anna, working out of Toronto. Anna actually gave me my first and only, what's it called, flash tattoo, because all the other tattoos I wanted to kind of like symbolize something, or like kind of felt meaningful, or just something in wildlife I really liked, but this was just like my first flash tattoo. This is a little mouse climbing up a wheat stalk, and I just find him to be very, very cute, and he's got little beady eyes, and he's looking at you. And I remember like trying to decide where to put it on my body, and I was like, it would make sense putting it on my leg, because he's kind of like climbing up the wheat stalk of my leg. But then at that point, I was all about tattoos on my arms, and I was like, I just kind of want to see it every day. Like, I have my frog, but I never see him because he's down on my like calf. But I wanted to like just see it every day if I'm spending a lot of money on it, so I got him here. And ultimately, I would probably move him down to my leg if you could copy and paste like in Canva, but he's here to stay, and he's cute, so we're gonna let him just chill and vibe here. And yeah, I really like the kind of fine line work there. I don't know what tattoo artist did this, but it was just a tattoo that a best friend of mine made for me. This tattoo represents the little prince. I don't know if you can see it. It's like a little dining table or like bedside table, and it has a book and a little plant and a little coffee cup or tea cup, and it says, I think it says 3 o'clock. And that is really meaningful to me because it represents The Little Prince, which is like a little book kind of like for kids, but also just not and for everyone, and just has a lot of really meaningful lessons that, yeah, it's just something that I'll never forget. The first time that book was gifted to me, and at one point in my life, it just like lived on my bedside table and was very comforting to me at night. If I couldn't sleep, I would just read The Little Prince. And I would also read it in mostly Spanish, and that just like helped me kind of learn Spanish at one point in my life when I was kind of new to learning and reading in Spanish. So yeah, that's really meaningful. And the 3 p.m. is a reference from in the book when the fox comes to visit the little prince, and he's like, the fox is getting tamed. But it's one of those things, if you know, you know. Now we're taking a deep dive into Sarasota, Florida to visit my tattoos given to me by Chris. Yeah, lives in Sarasota, and this is Chris. I said that awkwardly. Chris has given me several tattoos. The first tattoo that Chris gave me was this really cute little cardinal bird. This is a red-headed cardinal. Yeah, I don't really love color tattoos, but I wanted to commemorate like how special the red head was of the cardinal to me. Whenever I would visit / like when I lived in Hawaii, the red-headed cardinal was like the first bird that I learned, that I actually saw like getting off the plane and identified, and it was a time when I was like really recently getting into bird watching, and I just remember how cute they are. And I'm just from the east coast of the state, so I'm so used to northern cardinals, and so to see like this other bird, it looks kind of the same but also completely different, I was like, that's so cool. So I wanted to commemorate that, and that is why I have this red-headed cardinal, which I think Chris did an amazing job with. So I went back to Chris and got a couple more tattoos. My other favorite by Chris is this cypress tree. I'm from originally Louisiana, where we have a lot of, cypress trees growing in the bayou and swamps. So they're really beautiful trees. It's just so cool to see trees growing in water and like being completely like happy there. And the tree also secretly it's one of those things that you wouldn't see unless you really look, has Mardi Gras beads on there in like different colors. And the colors kind of fade away, unlike black ink, which stays around a while. But yeah, there's like little purple and and gold little Mardi Gras beads. And that's just because during Mardi Gras season in Louisiana, you just see all kind of like beads on trees, and I wanted to commemorate that part of where I'm from. Chris also gave me this really sweet tattoo of a honey bee box. Sometimes I get asked, why do I have a filing cabinet tattooed on me? And I get where people are coming from with that question, but indeed it is not a filing cabinet, it is a beehive. You can see little tiny bees coming out, and there's like little yellow that's fading away into my little skin color, but there's also a pizza on top with a little bit of yellow, and it's because at one point in my life during prime of COVID, I was a pizza delivery driver and I worked for an apiarist, and that was kind of really key part of like who I was at that time, so I wanted to commemorate that. There is also a tattoo back here that I have to mention that is basically I wanted to commemorate the love of my dog Camp, who's over here sleeping just like a little gordissimo, and I love him so much that I love the band so much I named my dog after him, C-A-A-M-P, and this is like lyrics from a Camp song. I think it says it's just me and the stars tonight, and it's a little cutie person in their little cutie tent with their dog. Now, I really don't know what came first chronologically, so we're just gonna sum up the rest of these here. On this arm, I've got a really cute little shark tooth tattoo, and that's because the first field season I ever worked with sea turtles was on like one of the #1 beaches to find shark tooth like in the world. It was such a beautiful pastime of mine, was like collecting shark teeth. And I actually like got one of my shark tooths I found tattooed. So it had this kind of like little weird triangle in the middle, and yeah, it's the same size and everything. So I think that one's really cool. Moving over to under the shark tooth, there's a tattoo I have in Spanish. This is Siempre voy a volver. And that means I'm always gonna come back. I'm always gonna come home. I got this tattoo to represent my love for Quito, Ecuador, whenever I lived there back in my, junior year of college. And every time I had to go up to my university, which was like kind of far away from where I was living in Quito, I went through this tunnel that had this Siempre voy a volver like on the tunnel. And it was actually going to the airport, which is a really beautiful like placement for this. And then come to find it's actually a quote from one of Ecuador's like most well-known artists, Guayasamín. And yeah, I think it's really cool, and it just meant a lot to me because it was really hard to leave, to like have this reminder that I'm always gonna come back. Over here on my left side, to wrap it up, I've got a tattoo of me and wow, this really, really sweet dog named Rio. And whenever I lived in Montana, the first time I ever moved to Montana in college, I was a sophomore in college, and I met this lady on Airbnb, and I just fell in love with her. I think she's a wonderful lady, and we're still friends to this day, but I fell in love with her dog, and just like the most sweetest, giant, lovable, furry dog that I've ever met. Just looked so akin to like a wolf in the way of having a deep soul. And I actually like took this dog to like national parks and a lot of like hikes throughout my time living in Montana that full semester, and it was just really sweet of her to let me kind of build this connection with her dog, and I loved him so much I got a tattoo of us at Glacier National Park, like overlooking the mountains. So that's what that tattoo means to me. Yeah. I think we've got 2 more tattoos, and I've got to do a quick little wardrobe change to show you those. Be back in 3, 2. Never mind, I'm not taking my shirt off for you guys. I don't have enough followers to do that, so maybe if this video gets 1K views, maybe next time. But I got 2 more tattoos, okay? So the first one is a quote on my left shoulder that says, "Soy humano, amo." And that means in Spanish, from Spanish to English, I am human, I love. It's graffiti I saw whenever I went on a trip to La Paz, Mexico to do some sea star research, some starfish research with this really cool group, Ecology Project International. I remember one of the kind of mentors that was helping us out with that research pointed out this graffiti on the wall and told me what it meant, and I thought it was so beautiful. It was the first time like out of the country, out of the States and out of Canada, just like going into this kind of new place and with this new language, and I just like thought it was so beautiful to like hear and like see this kind of just really romantic way of like thinking that we're all just humans, we all love. So I got that tattooed. And the period's not in the right place, it's not grammatically correct, so there's that. So, but I still love it, it's still meaningful, so there's that. Soy humano, period, amo. I am human, soy humano, amo. I'm human, I love. It was graffiti. There's no periods in graffiti, but anyway.
Monumental for anyone.
Okay, everyone has to know that I posted this on my Facebook in 2011, back in like when I was literally like 14 and just like posting everything on Facebook. I was like, this is the tattoo that I'm gonna get when I am 18, when I'm old enough to get a tattoo. And it was this like photo drawing of like an artwork of a maple leaf in the American flag. And like growing up, whenever someone would be like, oh, where are you from or whatever, I would tell them I'm half Canadian, I'm half American, because my dad was Canadian, my mom was American. And I was like, I don't know, split it right in half. And so I wanted to like mesh these kind of two flags together, or these like two nationalities or whatever, however you want to call it, to like show that I was like half Canadian, half American from the time I was very, very young, because I thought that made me special and unique, being a kid in Louisiana, but also having connection to Canada, okay? Indeed, when I turned 18, I walked into a little tattoo studio and I showed them this artwork and I was like, can I do this? And they were like, yes, absolutely. So I have a maple leaf tattoo on my right back shoulder that you definitely see if I wear razor tank tops, like the tank tops that do this. Just proud and clear. This American flag, like dank flag, just like staring into your face when I'm doing hot yoga. Can you imagine how much, what's the word? Embarrassment I feel for this at this time in my life. When America is a fascist institute. Not that it ever wasn't, but it was less of one, you must admit. Really struggling with that one. Once again, I never see it, so there's that, unless like it's unless it's in a YouTube video. So there's that. It's in a maple leaf. Very proud of that fact that it's not just a little American flag, like I'm not just like muscle man with my American flag tattoo. It's in a cute little maple leaf. So I think it's obvious that there's some symbolism going on there. And it's contained within the Canadian also institute of the country. I'm not changing it right now because I have too many cool ideas for new tattoos. I don't want to do laser surgery. I don't want to get a tattoo over it and like just kind of like make up, you know, something to put on top of it, because yeah, I've got too many ideas for really cool tattoos in places I will see them more in more meaningful ways. And also like, I'm just kind of honoring that part of me that was like, I am a really cool, unique kid and I want to show this, and this was my first tattoo. So I just let them have it for now and just keep it up there. And it's a fun little surprise for people to see whenever they see me without a shirt on. So yeah. Okay, that's my tattoo summary, my tattoo tour, all of my ink on my body. Very happy that to share this with you. I think it's super fun. My dog really wants to play right now. Recording in progress. I think that's it. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed my tattoos, maybe got some inspiration. I'm really excited for more tattoos in the future. I just need more money, so maybe you should give me a follow, subscribe to my channel, and let me know what was your favorite tattoo in the comments below so I can get more tattoos in the future. Thanks for watching. I hope you stick around and join whatever other adventures we get up to on next week, which is I think Jay. Yes, Jay. So stick around for Jay. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do some journaling. We're gonna see how I feel after a week of journaling every single morning, probably 3 pages a day, like in the artist way. So let's do that. Okay, until then, bye, see you.
This is Editing Claire here, and I didn't want to type this in text because I'm feeling lazy and sometimes it's easier to record than to text. So I'm just saying that today's video was made with the help of my beloved partner and her brother, Britton McCubbin. So shout out to B. McCubbin for his amazing videography skills. Also, he made the song for this, the background tune. So yeah, so shout out to Britton McCubbin for song and video support. Love you, bye.